Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors. Today we're doing something different. We got Mr. Weather Tree with us because if something, well, let's go through the whole thing. Today is 8/29 of 2024, August. It's Thursday, it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 27 degrees Celsius at around 7 p.m. We're talking about finding another tree if the tree dies that your children planted. Sometimes it happens, so don't worry about it. But the best thing to do is tell your children trees die for some reason, and some reason alone. We don't know why. It could be the weather. Maybe the roots weren't strong enough when we found it. So take them out and let's go hunt for another tree. And that's what I did today when I was pulling some weeds by the church. I found another tree for the kids. And it's a maple. Maples are simple to do. So before we do anything, I took the dead tree out because I clipped it and it didn't live, but the moss lived. So I'm going to take the soil out of the pot. Now the soil is still good. So I'm just going to clean it out. Let me bring this down so you can show the kids what you got to do too. And you can do the same thing. If a tree dies, don't give up. Oh, I can't do it anymore. Nah, that's giving up. You're not successful unless you try. And if it dies, like my old buddy Vince used to say, what are you going to do? Nothing happens. Stuff happens. You just go on from there. So what I'm going to do is clean out the pot the best we can. And you can let the kids do it. This is just a little pot that I got from in Chinatown. And let me get my brush and just brush everything out. Now the soil was wet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back in my mini mix, and we'll mix it up, blend it in, because there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. We're just going to stir it up, and you can have the kids do it. Just don't stir in the screen. And then all you do is either take your chopstick or a spoon, and just like you're baking a cake. Now in here I put in some Peace River gravel too for drainage. I can add just a little bit more because the Peace River gravel is so fine. You can see how nice and fine it is as I pour it in. That'll help us give some extra drainage to the soil. Just mix, mix, mix. You know, it's there, it's there. What are you going to do? Stuff happens. So what I did was when you find something, and this was during the heat of the day, but this was growing in the shade, I soaked it in my sprinkling can. And you can see the nice roots on it, and you can see the curvature on it because it grew by the fence where it had the pipe going that way, so it had to grow up and then around. So that's how it grew, and it's got a nice root system, and I think it'll fit real nice in there. The main thing we got to do is take our pruners, and all we're going to do is hold it over the pot and just eyeball it. And it should fit in there just like that. Now it's going to be off because it's growing to the side and over. I don't know if you can see it. Now the root's going to be smashed in there a little bit, but I don't want to take much off because of the time of the year. If this was in when the weather was getting real cool, it'd be different because it can spring back. So now we're going to take our spoon, we'll put our brush away, And this is the mix. It's got, what do I got in there? It's got peat moss, worm castings, torpedo sand, and the Peace River gravel. And we're just going to stick a little bit in the bottom here. Place our tree in there and get our roots in there. Tap it down. And then we're going to move our roots, our feeder roots that are growing on top there. And we're just going to push it in there. And then we need, since I don't have my bamboo skewers here, or do I? No, I do not. So all you can do is take a tweezers and just gently ease the soil in. And then when we water it, it's also going to go in. And then you can just jiggle it. Press it down and then give it a little bit more water, and you can let the kids spray it. And take them for a walk. Say, don't worry, we're going to go out hunting for another tree. And just do it. Just do it. Because if you don't do it, the kids are going to give up. You don't want them giving up on you. The best thing to do is get up off the chair. It's nice and cool in the evening. And just go for a little hunt, a little walk, and have them look for the tree. Have them look for it. And these pots are cheap, and when I went to Chinatown to get it, I think it was $1 for this one. I forget. Now the peat's a little dry, but it's getting wet. And just put it in. And by spraying it, it'll help the water go into the root system, and it'll help the soil filter into the crevices of where the roots are growing. So just explain it to the children and tell them what you're doing, and you can do this yourself. I mean, these little cups make nice little vases. Look at it. And you can see the water's draining real nice. And you can see the curvature of the trunk on this. This is all natural by the way it grew in the fence. So it's easy at pulling it out because it was right under the fence, you know, where they got that long pipe on those cyclone fences. And that's what it does. There we go. Now, we got some soil under here, so we want to get this flat. So I'm just going to try to work some of this mud off. And just have the kids do it. Just hold it in their hands. Now the moss is going to feel like fur from one of them stuffed animals. And if it breaks off, don't worry. Just put it in. You can break it apart. But what I'm doing is trying to wiggle it off. So what you can always do is spray it off. And just wash it with your fingers. Get most of that soil off and squeeze it in. Just like you're making a pancake. Get it into the pot. And then this deer, this is a deer from my HO stuff. And this is a male. It's a buck. Like the old joke says, how do you find money in the woods? Look for a doe with $2. I only got $1 here. But there you go. Nice simple little forest for the kids to do. I got some more here, moss. Just getting the soil off. Flattening it down. And just taking it in and filling it in. Just placing it in the corners where There's a little bit of space, but I think that's enough. I can always use this moss for something else by keeping it soaked in the dish. And then I got a little bit more of that Peace River gravel left. So after we get this into the soil real good, and the deer's over here standing guard, I'm going to cover this up first so I don't forget. There we go. Take some of our Peace River gravel. Now you can get this at the aquarium shop. I forgot who told me to get, they got chicken grit #1 that is supposed to be very good too. So I'll have to check that out at the feed store by me. And just put it in around the tree. You know, the grass doesn't always grow perfect out in the woods. So we can put a little bit over there. Put Mr. Spoon back in the pouch. If you need a good pouch, Ironwood Tools. Because you know nothing cuts wood like ironwood, and the pouches are very strong and durable. And I use it when I go outside and work. Right now for bonsai. Got it here so it holds all my tools. And there you go. Nice little tree, nice little maple. And we're going to leave it in the basement, and then I'll put it outside in the shade, in the recovery climate again, so it gets shade and a little bit of morning sun later on. And we'll go from there. Let's see what happens. But tell the children, don't despair. Mr. Weather Tree, he tells the weather, and sometimes he's wrong, he says. But hey, he looks out the window, and that's what he can see. And the thermometer. So, short little video. And if you're starting out in bonsai, go for something small and easy to do. It's easy to take care of, and you can find these trees. Look at how nice the curvature is. No wiring. Look at that. See? You can get a tree that grows naturally. So you take care, everybody. It's Thursday night, book night. Shut that phone off. Pull up a good book. If you got children, sit down with them. Read a story. Give them a glass of juice or a glass of water, whatever they want before bedtime, and sit back and read a story to them, and have your cup of tea or a glass of carrot juice and sit with them and read. And then once they go to bed, take a half hour at least to read. Shut that phone off and everything else. And the dogs are on the wild, on the loose. I gotta go. They're barking at somebody. You take care, everybody.